everyone and welcome back to April's video. I'm Phoebe. If you're new, I write recipes. I have a self-published cookbook coming out this year and I also do freelance creative non-fiction writing. In last month's video, I feel like I might have towed the line with potentially over-explaining myself. I am really glad I talked about that topic and thank you all for the lovely messages you left. I think I just wish I had more of a knack for explaining myself well in a more casual way. Anyway, now that I feel like I'm caught up with the videos I've posted this year on where I'm at with health, life, I'm excited to move this style of video into more immediate in-the-moment vlogging like I used to do and people really enjoyed. This video is me slowly getting back into that. It's lots of clips of what I've been cooking, been up to, what I've been thinking about. I don't want to be wedded to this monthly format, I think, going forward, to be honest. I might want to post more than once a month. Anyway, thank you so much for being here and I hope you enjoy the video. Since I organised the pantry at the top of the year, everything is earning its place. It's working for me great. There are, however, just a few things that I would like to use up. First thing I want to use up are these rice flakes, which are a total novelty and fun to eat, but I must admit I do prefer long thin noodles in my fragrant broths. And because they're just little flakes, the packet is so bulky. So I'm gonna make a green curry laksa noodle soup. It's going to be an uglier version of a recipe that's in my next cookbook. It's so warming and delicious and will be a great way to use these up. Gotta get on the grill. today I will be making bread art. Yes, today's aim is to make a lot of this bread art, and I just fell off this cat that I made yesterday and Merlin ate it. Anyway, as part of the design for the cookbook, you may be aware that not every page in a cookbook contains a recipe and its picture. There are like filler pages, and as part of that design I wanted to create some of the like quirky vintage great time to have a drink Merlin. I wanted to incorporate a few homages to very home style, I don't know exactly what date these are, but the bread art of times gone by. I don't know if many of you are familiar with like bread baskets where they're braided and then they just live forever. Usually because they have quite a lot of salt in them, they can last. It's that kind of non-edible dough, and I want to make a few little creatures, a few little food themed pieces that I can photograph and incorporate in the design of the cookbook. So that is this morning's aim. I'm using gluten flour because it's way cheaper. It also looks a lot more like bread in this kind of format, has a nicer color on it. I imagined I'd have to do this outside because like, I don't know to what degree I'm intolerant to gluten. My mum has bread and I use the same toaster, seemed to be fine. But just to be cautious, I will be trying to reduce the amount of dust created, wear gloves and a mask at times. A really nice side effect of this is having the house smell of gluten baked bread. It's like the best candle you could pop on. I don't have much time, so let's get into it. So they turned out okay. I think these little very imperfect salt and pepper shakers and this French press are my favorite. But yeah, I haven't worked with gluten containing dough in I don't know how many years. It is so stubborn. It's like, no, I don't want to move in that way. No, not feeling that either. Like, it's like working with a toddler and a teenager to like manipulate. Anyway, I think next time I might give it one more go. I might lean into rolling it out more as opposed to hand shaping so I can get like a consistent thickness. I'm thinking maybe do some hands that are like holding something. Maybe a clock, a pumpkin, maybe some fruit like a banana, a half cut avocado. If I had children in my life, oh my goodness, this would be such a fun activity. Move over Play-Doh, even though that's easier to manipulate, but I hate the texture of Play-Doh. Anyway, it's really fun and very cute. And you could just make the dough edible and then they could eat it. I feel like right now I'm experiencing a common mismatch of experiences. Like so many people say making dough is so therapeutic, but I don't. It's cute and fun, but I wouldn't say it's relaxing. There's so many little specks of flour that just go everywhere. Anyway, I'm fun. I can be fun. This afternoon I had plans to have a lovely, wholesome, crafty scrapbooking sesh with a friend. But I just had to rain check because for a few reasons I'm not feeling great. And just not like myself, which is not my fave state to be in when socialising. My friend was very understanding. I think lots of people are struggling in their own way at the moment. I'm a bit sad though. I was excited to make a really cute snack platter and trade scrapbooking supplies, but to make myself feel slightly better, I've gone ahead and made this snack platter anyway. I found this divider tray thing at an op shop when I was scouring for op shop props, and it's actually extremely impractical to display food for a cookbook. The compartments are impossible to work with and the blue doesn't really make food look great, but considering like compartment snack boxes are so in, like these things do exist in some vintage capacities, so people should keep that in mind. I smushed some vegan feta into little bell peppers and topped that with everything but the bagel seasoning. I have some dark chocolate coated almonds, some cinnamon toast, berries, pea snacks, and gluten-free dupe Pringles, and then some Hawthorn chew slices, which you can get from Asian grocery stores and are delicious. I've assembled some clothes to take to the consignment store. Makes you wonder which colours I'm drawn to. I can't figure it out from this. I think I'm gonna clean any makeup I have. I know the blush I use every day really could do with it. I'm not gonna buy from Rare Beauty again. The dispenser is irritating and gets really messy really quickly, and I'd prefer to purchase from a company that isn't headed by someone who supports Israel. Does anyone else get a little bit, oh my goodness, when they see influencers being gifted the entire range of blushes from a beauty company, like every single shade? To me that just spells what a waste, what excessive consumption. They should just spend their energy, in my opinion, designing a really lovely sample pack, completely compostable. Like if I was in the position of being gifted something, I would much prefer that. Just the opportunity to try all these things in your own clean, personalised, delivered to your door kind of way. That's not under the fluorescent lights of like Sephora or Mecca. I've been really enjoying as well going through and watching the back catalogue of Nina Montagne. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Her vlogs. She's been vlogging for years now, since I last watched her when it was Cam and Nina and they were posting vegan food and recipe content and making zines. I really admire Nina's channel and how she adapts YouTube to fit her life, not bend her life to fit to YouTube. I think most of her videos have a sponsorship, but like I watch every one because the content is so wholesome that I'm like, good for you. Like I just love this for you, and that's not really the case for most other creators. It's really nice to see what she's up to in life these days, and it also is insightful to see that there actually are still these days a hefty amount of like ethical people who are sponsoring videos. One can dream. But that's another lovely, really safe, intelligent, critical thinking, gratitude-filled, slow living, neurodivergent corner of the internet I'm very grateful for at the mini. I got another haircut at the same place I got the last one. It was the most effortless communication of what I wanted. I think I've really nailed how to have that conversation. You whip out a photo of the closest haircut you've had to the one you want, and then if you're bringing up photos of other people's hair, do not pull out sentences like, I really like this person's hair, because all you're going to be met with is, your hair's not like that. Their hair's a lot different in this type of way to yours. Instead, point out the qualities of that haircut that you like, if you think your hair can function in the same way. And I pointed out that I think my hair would curl sort of against my neck in kind of a pinwheel way if we left little wispy bits at the back in this short mullet. And she did exactly that. I'm really liking having found a place which does not require small talk. It's such a weight off my shoulders. I sometimes watch videos about what my very particular 10-year-old did or didn't eat today, that kind of thing. I think for anyone, it's really evocative content, which makes you feel things based on how you were fed and the attitude to food you were raised by. Like I feel like I got really lucky in so many ways, but was definitely brought up with you finish everything on your plate. If you don't like things, you're being difficult. I prided myself so much on not being a picky eater when I went to friends' places and like being able to say, I eat everything, like little people pleaser me. I really don't know how I would have responded to have so much choice growing up. And one of the reasons I was drawn to cooking and having some agency over what I was eating, whether it be through what we're having for dinner or what's in my packed lunch, I think it was because I wanted some say and some agency, but sneakily I was doing it in a way where I would get praise for being so helpful. The trend on TikTok at the moment about I needed a hug, but instead and then people like got a puppy or booked a holiday. Mine is really needed a hug when I was little, but instead went really deep into figuring out how to make food taste like a warm hug. Like, I've used that descriptor a lot. Anyway, I've been thinking it's weird to have food be like such a comfort, but then also aging out of that because it can be quite stressful with reacting to things and like the sensory aspect of it just being blown up so much at this weird point in your life. Anyway, all to say, I'm very grateful that I had a very carefree period in my life relating to food where I was not even aware like how food made me feel. Like in terms of indigestion. Wasn't allergic to anything. Personal golden years right there. I'm not being emotional about that entirely. Anyway, evidence of the funny mood I'm in. As well as feeling a bit bad for just not feeling good enough to hang out with this friend today. I think I'm feeling a bit funky about friendships in general. I've been feeling for probably over a year now, just with a lot of changes. Could blame it on the Saturn return, which is happening in a lot of people's lives. I'm half joking. At the moment, and I think I'm realizing with a lot of news that friends are sharing or life decisions they are making, it's the result of like the cumulative, I'm gonna say privilege of having 10 years post school where you have an able body, you're neurotypical and you can work. I think I've been really feeling that while it's such a privilege to not be able to work and have family members who can support you, it also is a privilege to work. Like when I think back at the times I have been working, and yes, I'm working all the time, like on this cookbook, but I mean paid work that just has the aura and energy and financial compensation of more traditional work, like running the micro bakery, working at a school, even nannying. Like, it feels so good to contribute. Yeah, it's the really funky feelings around having to stop doing something when your body's like SOS. So yeah, there's like some envy of what some people in my life are moving on to do, and some loneliness as well, and just like felt difference, which is a constant thing, but it's like hits you in waves, I think, because it would be a bit too much to be thinking about all the time. It doesn't feel the best to be working on this cookbook and having to pause like more freelance work and just be in a much more like drier financial spot, also with the impending cost of this cookbook and unsure financial compensation point to it. Also, the people from Hardy Grant have not got back to me. It's nearly like 3-4 weeks now, so I don't know which avenue I'm going to be taking yet, self-publishing or like publishing with them. Would really love to know so I can like get my head around the finances, think about a pre-order campaign, hence like why I'm mentioning like the past cookbooks I have a bit more, like a great time to buy and support me, and taking clothes to consignment stores, asking if people consider to bump their free newsletter subscription to a paid one, etc, etc. It's not like my favourite position to be in. While I know so much of it is like outside of my control, like the algorithm has never really pushed my videos much. I don't feel like I really know how to wrangle it, and even like being hyper aware that the last video, for me, quite a clickbaity title, like why I'm no longer vegan. I felt irky doing that. Like, there's so much irkiness which for me comes in with playing into what these conglomerates and institutions praise. even though when I see creators I like being financially compensated for their work, I'm like, pop off queen, get that dosh. A bug just flew into my eye and I think it's gone into the ether. Anyway, I'm at the library about to return some books, but I thought I would talk about Claire Keegan for a hot minute. I have fallen in love with her writing along with every second person on the planet. To summarize the 3 short books I have read, including Small Things Like These, I'd say that one's about people who feel too much and the consequences of them in history. Foster is about people who didn't receive enough attuned care growing up and what it looks and feels like when they get it. And then So Late in the Day is about the patriarchy and misogyny and relationships. Foster is absolutely hands down my favourite book of hers that I have read. I think I will reread it every year. It is such a comfort. I kept expecting there to be some spooky, dark, bad thing to happen because her others have that in some way. I know some people found this very sad, but I just find it beautiful. Claire Keegan's writing is very sparse and clean. People talk about all the things she leaves out, makes room for the viewer to bring their own thoughts and contemplation more easily to it. I think works which leaves things out intentionally are like Having a Moment, like with the Netflix series Adolescence. Leaving things out is a very powerful narrative device. Each one I've read in one sitting. It's now the end of the month. I feel like I'm in a much better place than when I was talking to camera last. I've grown so much this month and there's lots of promising change on the horizon. Just last week I finally heard back from a publisher I might have been publishing the cookbook with. I now know which direction I will be taking. I'll talk more about other changes and life news in the next video. Before I go though, I wanted to do a little show and tell. I have been collecting fruit stickers on an old sticker sheet. It's a scrapbooking practice, but honestly, I get such a thrill out of it. I never knew that fruit stickers, at least here in Australia, are so varied in their design. And I have new respect for my grandfather who has been doing this unironically for most of his life, just out of collector's enthusiasm. For Easter, I didn't want any chocolate this year and I specifically asked for a thermos-like cup which would keep my coffee warmer in the morning because I want to spread it over such a long period of time that it often gets cold before I get to the bottom. This is a Fresco coffee cup. It's like a really high quality thermos. The inside ceramic, outside stainless steel. It's got a grippy, rubbery bottom. As the steam expands, it seals it very well so it cannot leak. I really hope this legitimately lasts like 20 years. It feels and comes across as being so hardy. Wonderful addition to my routine and modern lifestyle. Onto clothing. As I mentioned in previous videos, had intentions to improve my sense of style and acquire a few meaningful additions to my wardrobe. I'm very happy to say I finally had some success on this front. First up, I got these men's jeans secondhand for $10. They're very wide leg. They have sort of a balloon Alpha 60 style nod, which I absolutely love. I also found these Kathmandu hiking streetwear type pants at an op shop, which were very frayed at the bottom, a bit overpriced for the quality they were in, but I got my mum to take them up. They're very versatile. Whenever my mum hems something, I get a bit convinced it doesn't look good, but it looks fine. That's just a me problem. I got this blue striped jumper you saw me wearing with some store credit I built up at a consignment store. It was a garment experience for me where you put it on and you're like, this is so me. I went to this rad new vintage store in Caulfield called Waxy Apples Vintage. You should absolutely check it out if you're in Melbourne South East. I really wanted to support them, so I made a purchase that is maybe slightly a bit of a stretch for me, but it's okay. It's this multicolored, very fluffy jumper. It's a shape I don't wear a lot, and I think up close against my skin color it might look a bit odd, and I think that owner of the shop might have thought that too, but with pants, the whole package. I think it works. It's also very cozy and comfy and just a really nice one to have on in the evening. I don't know. It was just calling my name. We'll see how much I wear that. I bought these Kathmandu socks because I was very into the colorway. I've never owned such good quality socks, everyone. They're so cushioned in all the right places. Ridiculously comfortable. I also found my dream bralette this month, but I ordered it in sizes too big, so we're in the return process or exchange process, from Laksa. It's the softest material, so flattering, extremely comfortable, doesn't feel like you've got anything on. Yes, and my bralette bra situation is in dire straits, so they really need to hurry up and arrive at my door. And then I just wanted to congratulate myself because I dodged some post-purchase dissonance and didn't waste money by trying things on in person. I thought these Pure Baby pajamas, 100% cotton, the shape I like with like elastic at the ankles and wrists and high neck. It was the style for me, the cut for me. Went into the store and the smaller size they had was like way too big for me, and I don't like oversized stuff with pajamas, so that was an easy no. I'm still really in need of winter pajamas, but it hasn't been that cold here, concerningly so. That means I don't feel like I'm in a rush, and the ones I'm looking at are from Sage and Claire now, which are 100% cotton, similar shape. They just come in these stripy styles, and neither I'm like absolutely love that. Also, from the reviews, the cotton looks extra thick, and I know there's not going to be that many nights in just Melbourne's climate as it is now where I would actually be wearing both to bed because it would be that cold. Why is finding basics so difficult? Anyway, another near miss. I went and tried this base layer at Kathmandu on. I thought the colorway was really me, and it actually wasn't very flattering at all. When I put it on, it looked like a sack, and it was extremely long, which I don't like. Then I have to talk about my favourite book this month, new favourite book ever, Motherhood by Sheila Heti. It was the most readable genre bending piece of memoir writing I have read in a long time. I've never dog tagged a book so much. It follows the author trying to make the decision as she comes to the end of her childbearing years on whether she wants to have a child or not. No spoilers, she does not. It's as much about deciding on whether she wants to have children as it is about reflecting on what it means to have a fulfilling creative life. It answered so many questions around the wanting kids topic of like how you figure that out. I'm really glad I read it. I feel like I can have that conversation with much more precision and conviction, because I too do not want to have children. But there's also more on that I could talk about. Like, I don't feel relationships do not call my name. I don't feel drawn to a lot of things that common big milestones and things people do. Why did I say it like that? Anyway, I highly recommend this book. It's quite thick, but I literally read it in 2 days. Extremely readable, and I want to purchase a copy myself. That is all from me in this video. Take extra good care of yourself, and I will see you